everybody, welcome back to Let Me Live My Life, a show about funny, talented nobodies. And we have one of my favorite local singer-songwriters here with us today, and I'm so excited.
Me too.
Nikita Afonso, she's so amazing. So she plays at my side hustle where I work. She plays there, and so I have the privilege of hearing her like once a week, which is so fantastic, and I'm a total bitch to play for because I'm so like critical. But like she's like, I'm always like, oh my goodness, it's Nikita, because her originals are so fantastic, and she's gonna play one of them if I can convince her to play one of them for us today. So yeah, I just want to hear about your journey. So how long have you? So first of all, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
So how long have you been playing music?
I've been playing music for the last I would say 9 years.
Okay.
I used to be a huge jock in high school. Like
Wow,
I played
cool.
volleyball, soccer, basketball.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like the route I was kind of thinking about taking. Like maybe I'd get a scholarship, go to college or university.
Right.
And then I started taking music way more seriously in my last year of high school, and or in the last couple of years.
Nice.
And started kind of playing in the coffee shops in my hometown.
Which is where?
Penticton.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in the Okanagan, which is amazing. And I really miss it there.
I bet.
And then after I graduated from high school, I went to a school called Selkirk in Nelson.
Nice.
Have you been to Nelson?
No.
Oh my goodness, I love it so much. It's like this little hippie town.
Nice.
And then from there, I moved to Vancouver, and I've been doing music full time almost the whole time I've been here.
Amazing. So in the beginning, was it really hard to like get your foot in the door and kind of like build up places to play? And like, did you have to have like a side hustle, or your folks here? Like, how did that work?
No, I left my folks. So my parents are still in Penticton.
Okay.
And when I first moved here, yeah, I had multiple side hustles. I was working in a coffee shop. And then I kind of got my foot in the door at Long and McQuaid, which is a music store.
Yes. So were you teaching there?
I was not teaching. Teaching is not my forte. I really struggled like explaining myself and what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So trying to like teach a kid what is going on in my mind, it doesn't work. So I was hired to be the receptionist in the lesson
really?
center.
Wow.
Yeah. And then kind of worked my way into the sales floor.
Okay.
And I was there for, I want to say maybe 10 months.
Oh.
And then the manager of a restaurant in Richmond
Okay.
called Cavu, which is part of the Hilton,
Okay.
kind of stopped into Long and McQuaid, the music shop, dropped off his card with a buddy of mine and said, hey, we're looking for live music.
Nice.
And so it was kind of lucky, and
Yeah.
I did not have anything together to play for
Right.
3 sets. I could maybe
No, totally.
pull off
It's
one
so
set.
long. The thing about Vancouver is that 3 sets minimum. Mostly it's 4 or 5 sets.
Pretty much.
Which is insane. If you are like a vocalist that's really trying to like make something happen emotionally, good fucking luck 5 hours later.
Yeah,
Like,
it's tough.
What do you have to give? Yeah, like good for you though.
There are certain musicians though, and I envy them, that just get better with the amount of time that they keep singing. And it's I know one specific musician who can sing for like 6 hours in a day, and it just blows my mind. I can't do it. 4 is kind of my max, and I have to kind of put my foot down.
Well,
at
I
that.
could do it like once or twice, but if you were asking me like, okay, we're gonna do this 4 days a week, you know, 2 different gigs of like 3 or 4 hours, you know, it would just kill my voice. And honestly, because I'm a songwriter, and I don't know how you feel about this, because I'm a songwriter, the idea of spending that much creative energy to play to a room where no one's super stoked that you're there, everyone's just kind of like having meetings.
And a lot of people really love when you play cover songs, so you don't even get to
Right.
necessarily, I mean, you can throw your originals in there,
Right.
but
You just have to do it kind of on the down low. Like,
just sneak
it
them in.
there. Right, like a little sneak attack.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I just, like, do you find that when you've had a week of playing live, like 4 hours a day, that you, like, how do you have enough creative energy to then write and do other things?
Like, I haven't written in a very long time.
Girl.
I know. It really does drain my creative process. And not only that, but because I've already sang for 4 hours or 3 hours of the day, And this is not me complaining. I'm not complaining
You know
about
what?
this.
This
I
channel
love
is
my
about
job.
the real shit, though.
Yeah,
because people are going to
totally.
see you playing out, and they're going to be like, "This is ideal. She has everything. There's nothing going on." They need to know that there's another side to it, right?
Totally.
Because there's a lot of musicians in town who think, "I just wish that I could get a gig every night." And they envy you, but they don't see the other side of it. And it gives them anxiety to look at your situation and go like, everything's perfect for her. And you know, so it's good to know the other side of it, because it helps people not to feel anxious.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
So, continue.
The other side of it is like the physical, the amount of physical energy it takes out of you too.
Yeah.
And like we were just speaking about our voice, and if I know that I have to go to work later and sing for 3 hours or 4 hours, I won't use my voice during the day.
It's just like a mute.
I will be silent.
Yeah, I totally get that.
And it's taken its toll on my creative side, because I'll be like, no, I don't want to write, because then I'll sing, and then I won't have a voice for work, or even on my like social life, because
can't go to a noisy restaurant and hang out with your girlfriends.
Like going to loud places like restaurants or bars or clubs. I'm not really a club girl anyway. Like, I can't dance.
It's just like, but you learn to be like, okay, how loud is it in here? Shit, I have to be quiet, right? Like, and so if you're just getting started and you're wondering why after a weekend your voice sounds like shit, it's because were you in a club and you were like, hey, in order to be heard, right? Also, you learn tricks, like, because I was huge into the club, because I like to like, but like, I just learned that you start to talk in your head voice every time you're in a situation that's really noisy, and then it actually doesn't tire you out at all.
Really?
Yeah, and people don't notice. You would think they would notice that you're talking like Mickey Mouse, but they don't notice. So like, if I was in a restaurant that was noisy or a lounge, and my friends and I were there, I would just bring it up into my head voice, and you don't really get tired. So that's
the tips and tricks.
That's right.
Music biz.
Tips for days. Yeah, that's so interesting. So then last time you wrote was when?
The last time I wrote was maybe a couple of months ago. I wrote a song called Jokers.
Okay.
And it's actually kind of what we're talking about right now. The song's about how people, it's about the perspective as a child that you have on the world and life, compared to after going through things in life that make you so jaded, your perspective on life as an adult, and how social media kind of has takes its toll on that, and how you always see everyone's highlight reel.
Totally. Well, this is supposed to be a cure for curation for that reason, because everyone has their bullshit out there. That's such a great inspiration for a song.
Thanks. Yeah, and that's why for me, like, I only write when I get inspired like that, and if I get a really good idea, I will say, okay, it's worth sitting down and hashing this out, even if I lose my voice for later. Like, that's where I should be putting more energy into my songs.
Well, that sounds like something that maybe gives you a bit of anxiety. That you're like
writing?
Yeah, that you're like the shoulds, right? I should be doing more of this. I should.
100%.
Yeah, we all have that too. And I think that's kind of what kills you. Is that also because you were an athlete? I would think that same like drive that makes you a really good athlete is great for your music and also horrible for your mental health. Right? Because it means that you're always like, I should be doing this and I should be able to do everything. But the bottom line is that this is like, as a musician, you have seasons, right? This is how I think of it, because I used to totally be exactly like that, where I'd be like, I haven't written in a month and I'm such a loser and it's never gonna go anywhere and it's never gonna be successful. But I find that it goes in seasons. Like, you have a season where you're living your life, and all of those things that you're doing that are not writing actually are the things that you get to write about. Once they settle and kind of find their space, like in your body, you can write about them. Sometimes when you're living in them and you're like in it, there's nothing that really comes to fruition from writing. So I think it's about being patient with ourselves and realizing that it's a long life.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
And you're not gonna, like you said, like, you're not gonna have things to write about if you're just constantly in the mind space where it's like, I need to write. Right. So then you're not gonna live your life either.
Yeah.
And that's something that's like massive for me right now, and has been for the last few years, is trying to find a balance between music and life, like everyday life, because I am, and like for the last few years have been like such a go-getter, but I feel like I'm putting so much energy into things that aren't necessarily getting me to the next level. And then I would burn out so fast. And something that I've kind of been learning is like, it's okay to have a day off and go hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
And not think about music.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's something that I've like.
It's a struggle to get there.
Yeah.
For sure. But I think too, what we don't realize, like when we have that lazy moment, like, oh, being so lazy and you feel guilty, I think that I go, is there ever really a time that you're not thinking about it? Is not really. Even when you're with your friends,
Yeah.
like you're having a good time, and then as you're walking home, you're thinking like, oh, like that's a good song idea, or you're thinking about a different, you know, a different cover that you're like, oh, that rhythm is so interesting. I wonder if I could write a song with that rhythm.
But there's still a balance to it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's a healthy way to do it, I think, and then there's an unhealthy way where it's gonna just beat you down to the point where you have nothing left in you,
Right.
and you're not gonna want to do it anymore. Like
Right.
I even went to the point where I like went and bought a camera and got into photography a little bit, or like a longboard, because I think what the problem with me was music was my job and my hobby. Like I was looking at it as both, and like it was just so much music all the time, which I love,
Yeah.
but exhausted me at the end of the day. So I try to like find other things
I
that
think that's really smart. Well, I think that's the reason why I don't teach anymore. But at the end of the day, I was using all my vocal energy and all of that, and it's the same part of my brain that I'd be using to write. So I go to write, and all of my songs sounded the same. Oh, they were all stuck in this like really deep ditch creatively, and I was like, this isn't making me happy. Like my students were happy, but like I was like, what am I giving all of this up for? You know? And I think if you don't, like, you have a compulsion. And some would say like that, everyone I know that has this compulsion, it always leads back to a similar like childhood, interesting childhood situations. But I think it's like, if you don't have a compulsion and you're in music, go become a nurse.
Do you mean like an obsession?
Yes.
Like a need to
it never
have to-
sleeps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you don't feel the way you do about it, or the way I do about it, go find something else you can be happy with, because it's not gonna be a thing. Because it's a 10-year road. It's 10 years of working your ass off, and then, you know, a door will open. It's 10,000 hours of practice, and then that will meet, like when I was the last one, if you saw it, was Aaron, amazing musician here, and he was saying like, it's that when opportunity meets preparation, right? And the opportunity thing is totally out of our hands.
Oh, yeah.
So because of that, we do things like interview each other so that other people can be encouraged. We do things like, you know, write songs and play them out and hope that at some point the person that needs to hear it's going to hear it. And sometimes that's a non-creative. So that's the scary part, is you have to kind of trust somebody who is not maybe a musician but has the connections.
A business person.
Yeah. So I've been fucked over many times by that person. And have you, or have you not yet? Not yet.
The way I was
Optimistic.
raised, yeah, I guess not yet. The way I was raised was to always be like very skeptical,
Okay.
and like always just kind of have that like, what are you gonna get out of this? And
Yeah.
maybe that's not necessarily a great way to go about it, because I potentially lost opportunities where I just didn't have enough trust. But I do also think that I've dodged some
For sure.
shady people that just want to like use you to make a buck, or this is gonna maybe take a turn like slightly off topic, but like use you because you're a female,
For sure.
and they really have no ties to the music industry or
They have a lot of
anything,
words, yeah.
and
Yeah.
they just want to buy you a drink and talk to you, and you're just like, but now I think like the skeptical side of me kind of maybe built up a wall where good things will come my way, and I'll be like too scared to even take advantage of that.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, I mean, it's about a balance, right? Like I was very trusting and naive. And so I've had a lot of guys, men say like, okay, I know this person and this person and this person. So give me, you know, 40 grand and we'll go to Nashville and we'll write and we'll make you a record. And I hate all your original music. Red flag. If somebody listens to all of your music, I sent him like 100 songs, and he was like, I hate all of this, and I was like, oh, okay, because I was naive. He's like, we need to write together, because he wanted to have some percentage on the back end, right? And he'll probably also wanted a percentage on the back end, if you know what I mean. So we went down to Nashville. I recorded at Sony Tree, right on Music Row there, and it was amazing. But it cost like 10 times what it probably should have. And he was a piece of shit. And I'll name his name. If you private message me, I'll tell you who he was so you don't get screwed over. If you're in Calgary, send me a private message and I'll tell you his name so you don't get in that situation, because he's a piece of shit. So, and that happened to me, not to that extreme, but in different ways, where there's a lot of promises up front, a lot of words, like we're gonna do this, and I know this person, and David Foster, and and then nothing comes of it. Once the money's gone, so is the interest. And there's always the guy that wants to screw you, always. As much as we'd like to think like, you know, things are moving forward, there's still a power dynamic that's not the best. So, I don't know, I don't think you're wrong to be skeptical. I think you probably dodged a lot of bullets and maybe saved a lot of money.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely kind of did my research in like where I wanted to record my projects and how I wanted to do it. And it's funny because every single project that I've done has been in a different way, but I've always kind of made sure I could hopefully get the best kind of deal that I could, because it's another thing that people don't realize. And it kind of gets tied into that whole why we charge what we charge. But being a musician is extremely expensive.
Yes.
It's so expensive.
So expensive.
Like you want to either maybe go to school for it or take lessons.
Right.
Lessons are not cheap. If you want a proper vocal coach or you know, guitar teacher, whatever you're doing, lessons are not cheap if you want to continue them weekly or bi-weekly.
Right.
And then to actually create music, and there are so many ways you can do it now that you could do it on your own. You still have to buy the equipment.
Well, and it takes a long time to be able to use it in a way where it doesn't sound like shit. Because people know what it should sound like. So if you're like, I made this on GarageBand, and they're like, I can hear that, you know, whatever the drum track that you used sounds super chintzy and cheap, then I just think, like, I think you're right in that. I think especially girls, ladies, hey. So I think what the lesson is that we kind of are raised, and I think this is changing, but we're raised to look for a rescuer. We're raised to look for somebody to come in and take control and take what you have and bring it to the next level. And to a certain extent that is necessary, like building a team and whatever. But when you are not there yet, if you're not at a place where you've written like 10 songs that everyone around you, not just your mama, says are awesome.
That's important.
Hello. I mean, we've all seen American Idol. And we're like, my mom says I'm great. I'm like, turns out. So here's the thing, is that you need to be willing to do all the work yourself.
Yeah.
Do the research, figure out, okay, how do I use GarageBand? How do I even create like a really like rudimentary demo so that I can send it to somebody or get some people to invest in it or whatever. Like, it's a lot of shit. Whereas like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, musicians could barely tie their fucking shoes. And there were other people who kind of came along to like help them. But because the monetary system has changed so much in music, there's just not as much money to develop your shit. Which means you have to, as you know, as you do, have the gumption and be type A enough to take your creative little baby and manipulate it and put it out to market. Because if not, if you're happy just to write music and like be like, I have this now and I love it and you're mine, fine. But if not, you're gonna have to learn the other skill sets.
Yeah, and not even necessarily with just creating the music, but the business mind that goes along with it, like creating your team. And you know, so many people think like the first thing they need is like, I need a manager right away. It's like there's so much you can do on your own before you even start thinking about that. And yeah, maybe having a manager would take some weight off of your shoulders, but you're going to be paying that manager, therefore you'll have less money to go towards your actual recording or Like you can learn how to write grants yourself. You can book your own shows.
That's so intimidating, writing grants.
I haven't even touched it yet, if I'm going to be completely honest.
I wrote one, and we almost got it, and we just barely missed it. But it's a numbers game, right? It's like dudes on Tinder. Like, you just got to swipe right on every grant.
And then you'll get one.
And eventually you'll get one. You know, but it is like, it's a thing. If you're Canadian, for all of our American viewers, sorry about it. Sorry that your government doesn't invest in your art. Ruh-roh. So yeah, so if you are Canadian, or every province has their own grant system, so look that up. You are accountable to what you use the money for, and usually you have to pay something up front and you're reimbursed. So, or you have to at least maybe marry your funds with theirs. So just like have your ducks in a row before you make those applications, because it is more complicated than they're like, here's some money for you, enjoy, right?
Yeah, it's not like a school scholarship where they're just like,
enjoy this money for you.
Have at it.
Buy some Slurpees.
Yeah. And like keep all your receipts, and you have to like prove to them what you're spending it on, and like you said, have all your ducks in a row. You have to have everything planned out before you even apply, really.
Totally. So are you self-taught, or like what?
I actually took classical lessons for my voice, and that was in 2008 for maybe, I want to say 3-4 years.
Okay.
And then I went to school in Nelson, where I did the Contemporary Music and Technology program. So I had a vocal coach, because I did, my focus was on voice, of course. And then I had like songwriting classes and ear training classes and stuff like that, which I loved. Like that was, I excelled in everything because it was like what I was passionate about. Yeah. But if I'm gonna be completely honest, like if you don't use it, you lose it. So now if someone was to say like, hey, what's this interval? And they played this, I'd be like,
oh girl,
let me think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, and the cure for this, is that, like for me, I have that same thing. So I have a BA in classical voice. And so, but I think that, like I have like oral skills. That's what it's called when you learn how to sight sing. But like I'll listen to a song and be like, what is that? And I will in my head, I'll do the solfege. Like I'll be like, okay, do re mi fa so, that's a fifth. Right? And that kind of little practice every now and then is gonna kind of keep you a little sharp. The thing that I wish I had done, I wish that instead of getting my BA, I wish I had done like a double major, or like instead of getting my BA in voice, because I still have this voice, I could have still taken lessons, would be to get to be able to do the other side of it, like to be able to produce and to use like Pro Tools and stuff, so that I could just like do all my own shit.
But did you have a passion for that back then?
No, I didn't care.
I didn't care either.
I didn't care, but now I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have that skill set?
Yeah,
you don't have to hire anybody.
Yeah, I just bought like a good mic. I bought an interface. I bought a MIDI keyboard, just to even dabble in it and get my ideas down. It is really intimidating. I still don't know how to use it. I'm like a slow learner when it comes to that side of things.
Like when I started recording my own stuff, I was like, oh, this sounds like shit compared to what it would sound like if like
you paid an actual engineer
it's a lot of hours, right? But good for you though.
Thanks. I've really only like sat down at my desk once. I bought this last week. I hope it's not going to be one of those things that I buy and then it just sits in the corner, but I really don't think it's going to be that.
I rented a looper and I was like,
oh man.
Me too. I sat down with it and I rented it and I was like, oh. And I just took it back like a month later. I was like,
a month? I didn't even last a month. Really? I had it for a weekend and I was like, But you know,
some people just like, they loop their life away.
They're amazing. They're amazing at it. It just actually a skill that like, you just have to like keep working at it. And it's something that I actually think will make you stronger as a musician in the long run in terms of keeping your tempo.
Oh, for sure.
Like you're forced to do that. Where with me, and I've yet to see you perform live, but I do a lot of solo stuff, so I like can take liberties if I really want.
Every singer starts every song too fast.
Yeah,
That's true.
I've noticed that in myself too.
Yeah, every singer starts, because you don't think about it in the way, and especially if you're nervous at all. There's one girl that plays at where we both work, and she starts her songs at least 5 BPM fast. Every song that you can tell she's thinking vocally, she starts too fast, and I'm standing at the bar like, this is too fast. This is too fast.
Marla's so funny because she knows like every song ever written ever, and I'll like be in the middle of singing a song and I'll forget the lyrics, like a song that I've been singing for 4 years or 8 years, whatever. And I just see her like she's working away, and then she just looks up at me. And I'm like, I know you know that I messed up.
I'm so sorry. What a horrible person.
No, it's funny. It's funny.
I
Like,
mean,
at least I know someone's listening.
right? Honestly, just like or when someone plays the wrong chord or something, or especially when they don't know the right chords. Like, it's one thing when somebody makes a mistake, then I kind of like, I'm like, I see you, right? But
Right.
it's different when someone like doesn't know the right chords to a song.
Oh,
and,
like through the whole song.
through the
and
whole
playing
song, I'm like, that's supposed to be an A6. Like, I like literally, I'm like,
You're like, I know what you're doing.
I see you. Right. But I mean, I do know what it's like to have a bitchy server, like where you're performing. And so I don't want that to be the vibe where it's like, this bitch.
That's not what you give off though.
I hope
You're
not.
just kind of like
Not to
cheeky
you.
about it, like,
I'm like, I see you, boo boo.
yeah.
That's right. I'm like, Dixie Chicks.
Yeah.
The Dixie Chicks called.
Oh,
Yeah,
someone requested that last night, and I was like, I haven't played it in a long time because I know I mess up the words every single time I sing that song.
I love it.
But I was like, whatever, we'll do it. Someone requested it, so I'm happy to
Which one
give
was
it a
it?
shot. Wide Open Spaces.
Oh yeah. Love
Yeah.
it. So good. Oh my gosh.
It's crazy because like there are songs that I've literally been singing since I started learning
Right.
how to like play guitar and
Yeah.
sing at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'll still forget
Well, there are ones that
words.
they seem to go into muscle memory, and then there are ones that don't. Like, I've got two new covers that I'm playing tonight, and one of them I can guarantee I'm gonna fuck it up because like it's the other one, it seems more natural, like the rhythm of the lyric. But sometimes, especially if you're a songwriter, and especially if you're a top liner, there are lyrics that you're like, why did you choose this lyric? This is stupid. Like, okay, this is my beef of life right now.
Okay.
Shawn fucking Mendes.
I love Shawn Mendes.
Okay. What is that song where he says his lyrics? I'm like, dude, where is your accountability?
Is it the Stitches?
Yes! Ah! I'll be needing stitches! What is that? Without your kisses, I'll be needing stitches? Are you fucking kidding me? What a stupid lyric.
Does it just not stay in your brain? It stays in your brain.
It does,
It's
because
catchy.
it's so stupid.
It's catchy,
It doesn't
though.
make any sense.
I get where you're coming from.
It doesn't make sense.
But do you listen to the radio now?
Because as a songwriter, and as like when I work with songwriters, I'm like, how did this get past all of the checks and balances? And nobody was like, this makes no fucking sense, Shawn. Try again. There's another way to say that where it makes more sense. Stitches? Without your kisses, I'll be needing stitches? You sure?
There are different types of songwriters too, right? Like
I guess so.
the people like us that really care about like the lyrics. And
But
then,
do we really want to be marketing to the lowest common denominator? I feel
no,
like
not necessarily. No, but at the same time, like so much of the pop music that's out there now,
I know.
it's like a lot of choruses, and I think it's just necessarily what's catchy to the ear now. They're not necessarily
Right.
putting as much thought into like thoughtful lyrics and
But I
what
feel
makes
like-
sense and what
Yeah.
what sounds good and
I think that's true, but I also think it guarantees that you're gonna have a flash in the pan, and 10
then you're
years
out.
from now, people are gonna look back on your song and be like, why the fuck did we like this? This sucks. You know what I mean?
And I mean, the music is always changing too. 10 years from now, this pop music would not have done well,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But right now, it's a massive.
Right, but
this
you look at
dance
like,
and-
think about like Umbrella.
yeah.
Yikes, right? I think we need to start trusting our first instinct. When you hear a song for the first time and you're like, ooh, this is like...
But do you not get this with every song that you listen to? Like every single song that first comes out on the radio, I'm like, oh no. And
Not-
then a week later, and I'm like, oh,
but
I
that's
love
the thing.
this.
It's because...
See, this is why I don't go to the club.
Yeah. I love that. I feel like you missed the 70s was when you were supposed to be a dancer. When it was all like, just tell me what to do with my limbs.
A lot of people say I'm an old soul. I think I was born in the wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it, right? I always trust my first instinct. And like you, because I'm a consumer and because we have been kind of bred to like something that we hear a ton of times. Like we kind of like, it just kind of, we acclimatize to it, we acclimate to it. But I'm like, oh, I knew I didn't like this song from the beginning. Although like my friend Blake Rose, he has a new song out and it's fucking awesome. Like from the first listen, I was like, oh, this is really good. So Lost is his new single and it's freaking awesome. And it's poppy and wonderful, but there's people around him who will not placate him, who'll be like, you know, this is awesome, but what about this and what about this, right? Like, and you have to kind of have someone, because Blake is not an egoic guy, like he's a sweet, good human being. So nobody around him is like, oh, I can't tell him. Not that we're saying that Sean is an egoic guy. Who knows? I don't know him. He's lovely abs. I don't know. I feel like an old lady sometimes. but yeah, pretty good. I don't know. I think it's interesting.
I think that like music is changing and it always will and it always has. And it's like, and I'm kind of someone that gets stuck in her ways and like, no, I like this.
Right.
Not necessarily in an ego way, but like I'm very open to other ideas. But like that's kind of like with my stuff, I kind of like it to be a certain way. But with the way music is changing, you either like get on board or you fall behind, I think.
I think maybe, but I think the other side of that coin is, but maybe what you're doing will be the fresh thing next. I think a lot of times when you get on board, like I wrote a song that sounded like Mumford & Sons and it's up now. It's Rushing Blue, available everywhere. But I wrote it at a time when Mumford & Sons was really big. And I find that if you're writing for what's really big, by the time it's out, by the time it's a thing, the people who are super into it have moved on.
Yeah, they're on to the next thing.
So you got to stick to whatever it is. Like I'm a firm believer that there's no mistakes unless you smoke a ton of weed and just like do nothing with your life. But if you're working towards something, there are no mistakes, really, in my opinion. So I think we're hard on ourselves because we think we have a good perspective of kind of what's going on, but really we don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What's the biggest thing? Like, what's the most like level of success? What's the thing right now that you're like, this was the highest point that I've been at thus far?
In the past, or what I think success is?
I would say measurable, that people who are watching would be like, wow.
Well, I think that a lot of people take into consideration like awards that you've won to be a certain level of success. But so for me, I won Best New Artist of the Year for the International Portuguese Music Awards in 2017, and that's kind of like a highlight of my career. Thank you. And then the year after we won Best Music Video. But as much as I treasure those things, I don't like to compare my my career solely on awards that you win, because there will be years where I don't win any awards, but it doesn't mean that I didn't put anything out there that like meant something to somebody. You know what I mean? For me, the level of success is based on like your own happiness and being content with what you're creating and what you are putting out there. If you really like it, like chances are other people are going to like it. And if you put so much pressure on the level of things that you're winning, or the amount of views you get on a YouTube video,
which
or how
you
many
guys have
likes
done
you get.
super well with your most recent stuff, right?
Yeah. I work with a YouTube team, and one of the video has like over 4 million views.
Amazing. What is that video so that they can? I'll put it on the end of this so you can click on it. But what is it?
Yeah, it's a mashup going through the 2000s.
Nice.
All the songs put out in, not all of the songs, but a good handful. There's like 40 songs or something out there. And that's amazing, and that's something to like, be excited about, but that doesn't mean that you're necessarily better than anyone else, or...
You're so balanced, Nikita.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I don't know.
She's had some good parenting. Well done, Mom and Dad.
they're definitely the people who are kind of like, if my head starts to
they're like, get all to
they're
yourself.
like, okay, Nikita, like you can chill out a little bit.
That's amazing. Although I met your parents are like lovely,
and they're like the most supportive people too. They are the ones that I think kind of like make me balance.
That's
like
good.
Don't get too full of yourself, but still be proud of what you've accomplished.
Right. I think the more you hang on to the good stuff, the more the bad stuff gets to you as well, right?
And there's so much bad stuff. Like, I don't want to sound like
She's so positive, and I'm like, yeah, it sucks.
I mean, it's true. It really is true. I always try to like be positive about it, but there is a lot of stuff that goes on that really brings you down. But if you choose to try to just be like, whatever, like brush it off, like don't even think about it, or think about it in a way where like, okay, how can I not do this next time? Or how can I avoid this next time? Eventually it won't take as much of a toll on you. You know what
I do know, yeah. So then how do you get your stuff to market? Like when you finish something and you have like the album art's done and like maybe you're working on a music video or whatever, how do you as an independent artist get your stuff out there?
It's been different every single time. So the first album I released, I was in grade 12. So that was 2012. And
she's in grade 12 in 2012. That's nice.
That one I worked with a producer that kind of took care of everything. And like the streaming stuff wasn't really that big back then. So we had CDs printed and
give them to everyone you know.
Yeah. And I still sell those CDs. Like I still have hard copies of those CDs.
Don't we all?
That people actually still purchase, like at the hotels and stuff. If they ask for a CD, I have a couple different ones now. And
what the two songs that you play live, your originals that you play most, what CDs are those on?
That's gonna be on the upcoming project.
Ooh,
yeah,
honey.
I'm so excited.
Right. So then, okay, so you have your, so we all have all have boxes full of CDs.
Yeah, sorry.
Somewhere.
I kind of, got
no, that's okay.
sidetracked. But yeah, nowadays there are a lot of like distribution companies like DistroKid or CD Baby that you can put your project on there. They send them out to all the streaming sites and like iTunes.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the route I go.
Do you still print CDs?
I probably won't for this upcoming project. I think I'm just
it's so nice for people who are over like 40 or 45 and it's to have something for them to hold, but it's such a lot. Like in order to get like a little few of them, it's so expensive that you're like, ugh.
And so many people don't even have CD players
players
anymore. Like cars are being made now and they don't even have CD players. And that's the only CD player I have.
Me too.
Now. There's a difference in terms of like the amount of support towards the artist. If you buy a physical CD, it's actually gonna help them
that
more.
money goes right back to your pocket. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they can put that towards the next project or music video or whatever. Where if you stream,
0.007 cents per stream.
Is that? See, I try to not even. I'm just like,
0.
oh, money, cool.
0.007.
Yeah, so it. We're excited when we get tons of streams on songs,
that means
and it's great.
1,000 streams is 7 cents. 1,000.
So just put our songs on a repeat, or just buy the CDs.
Yeah, or even if you just buy the song on iTunes, iTunes, and then it's like you'll be giving like almost $1 to the artist, right? If it's $1.29. Anyway, and so then the new stuff.
Yeah, so the new stuff is. I've released one song. We released a song on Monday.
I saw that.
And the rest of the tunes, there are 4 other songs that are in the mixing stage right now.
Okay.
They are almost done. Like probably within the next couple days they'll be done. Then they'll head off to mastering. And then we're gonna release probably 1 or 2 more singles, and then we'll release the rest.
EP?
Yeah.
Well, and I noticed that there was like a radio station lady that was like, I'm gonna give this to our whatever on your Facebook.
Yeah.
So then how did you make friends with these people? Like what do people need to know about creating those kind of connections?
Just be super friendly and so that contact is a family friend from Penticton who was so supportive ever since I was like a 15-year-old playing in the coffee shops. And we actually met him kind of through me being in music. So, and now he's friends with my parents, and it's all about, I think, not being afraid to just go up and talk to people and just start conversation and be nice. Like Dennis is one of the nicest human beings I've ever met, and he doesn't do anything with the expectation of, I'm gonna get something out of this. If I do this for you, you have to do this for me. And I think that's important, like in terms of supporting your friends too. Like something as simple as just sharing a song on your Facebook page or Instagram now. Like, and not expecting anything in return can go a long way, I think.
That's true. Yeah, that's really true. That's interesting. Well, that's the thing, is that you need to go through all of, like, think about your childhood to now and think, okay, who are the people who always were supportive? Do they have the ability, at the very least, they have the ability to share your stuff. But like, I know people who like maybe are church musicians and, you know, have this whole network. And you don't think like, how can I use all the people I know? But there are people that are already invested in you who you could potentially have a chat with and be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you're just starting out, that's the way to do it, is be like, because there is somebody who knows somebody. And, you know,
I feel like if you reach out to them and you've got like a good rapport with them from the past, or they're going to be happy to help you. Like they want to see you succeed. As much as the music industry, and I feel like a lot of people are competitive and a lot of people see it as a competitive thing, I feel like it's so much more collaborative than that. And
that's the beauty of it. Yeah. Even though we all have our moments of like seeing somebody who we don't think, this is our egos, right? Who we don't think is on our level in some ways, and they're killing it, and you're just like, what we need to be trying to do is like shut the fuck up and be like, you know what, no, there are things that this person does better than me, and maybe things have been easy for them in this specific way, but it's not actually helpful to anybody to just be like bitter and like,
I just
talk shit.
Kind of don't even think about it. I try not to. Obviously, when you see it, I know, I'm sorry, I feel like
no, don't be sorry. It's very on brand for your Canadian brand.
That's so good.
I just am like much more like cynical, and I think because I'm quite a bit older than you.
Like, I'm gonna just focus on me.
Right, stay in your lane, girl.
Yeah, like just.
Nice. I think that's really good advice. I think just like stick to your shit, because the people who might love, maybe like our Venn diagram of people who would love our music, there's probably a lot of overlap, but there's also a lot of people who would love me that don't love Nikita, or would love Nikita that don't love me. And it's like, if we can work together, then we can serve those people more. If you're in it because you want to get your message and your music out to people, it's not serving anybody for you to be antagonistic or to be bitter towards someone else's success. Because if it's somebody that you care about, if it's somebody that sees how good you are as well, then they're going to be able to at least tell you what's coming up next, or give you a little bit of advice.
Yeah.
Right? So get over yourself. Marla, get over yourself.
I'm not gonna lie, like, of course I see people on YouTube and they get all these views and whatever, and I'm like, I feel like I could sing that so much better. But then it all ties back to that whole view on success.
Well, you don't know their situation. How many of those they bought even.
That's so true. That's so true. Like it's just because they have tons of views on something doesn't mean that they're successful in the music industry. Chances are they have a side hustle too, and that some people don't see that as being successful. But it's all subjective.
For me, like, I've sung for like 60,000 people, and my channel is brand new. So I have a few people who watch everything and love everything, you know, but it's growing slowly. So it's like, if you let your ego get into it, it just poisons the well. And you cannot be grateful for the things you do have, because all you see is the shit that you feel inadequate about.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. You want to play something?
Sure, I would love to.
The guitar's right behind you.
Okay.
Miss Capo on it. There we go. All right, what are you gonna play?
I'm gonna play my new single that was released a couple days ago. It's called Holy My Heart. Holy my heart, it bled for you. Came on so strong, you admitted now you're gone.
falling deep. For you to be the type, for you to stay forever, for you to make me better, or for us to stay together. Shouldn't be surprised to leave my heart. Oh, leave my heart. Oh, leave my heart. Oh, leave my heart. Holding my heart. Wasn't looking for love. Pushed your way in, pulled me tight till I was sin. Was some game for you to win. In the end, you gave me up. You needed more. Maybe something that you had. But burning bridges, what you do? Nothing left to hold on to. Only one to blame is you. Or you feeling sad or sad. Oh, leave my heart. Oh, leave my heart. Oh, leave my heart. Oh, leave my heart. H-O-L-Y. All I ever did was try. H-O-L-Y. Never gave a reason why. H-O-L-Y. All I ever did was try. All I ever did was try. H-O-L-Y. Never gave a reason why. Oh, leave my heart. Oh, leave my heart. My heart. Oh, leave my heart. H-O-L-Y. 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 H-O-L-Y.
Woo. So good, girl.
Thank you.
Love it. I've definitely heard it before, hey? I've heard
Yeah, I've played it
a few times. Nice. Oh,
Thank you.
gorgeous. So they can buy that on iTunes or listen to it on Spotify or buy it on iTunes. Buy it on iTunes. So, yeah.
And the music video is going to be coming out on March 11th.
Amazing. So if you let me know, then I'll actually...
Ooh, link it up.
We'll link it up.
Yay.
Yeah, so
Thanks, Laura.
exciting, of course. I feel like we need to support each other and we need to let our egos go so that then we can build community instead of bitterness.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yes.
anyway, so thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. So you're playing next where?
Next is going to be April 9th. I'm going to be playing at the Railway.
Woo!
It's a duo show, so my guitarist will be joining me, and we're going to be playing a country night there, so that'll
That's
be
so
fun.
exciting. So what's the date of that? Do you know?
It's April 9th.
April 9th, what time?
I believe it starts at 8.
April
I can
9th
double check.
at 8 p.m. Look it up on the Railway Club's website if
Yes.
you're not sure. I have a gig tonight, so hopefully we'll see you guys there. Just kidding, this won't be up by then. Haha. Okay, so subscribe if you like the content. Thank you so much for watching. Ring the little bell so you always get a notification when something new is up. 3 new shows a week of different content. Thank you again so much for being
I love
here.
that you do this. Thank you so much.
Of course, yeah. We'll see you next time.
See ya.